going to like do stuff with Butler. If you're doing stuff with Butler University, my sister leads the business fraternity there, and so you might see my sister. She's in Butler's in Indianapolis, so.
You should. It's also good leadership. You should. I'm working in between.
I don't know why. I think you just somehow, somewhere. I feel like.
I think you got it. I'll ask every single woman I see if they have an hope you don't mind being close instead.
Now there's an awkward spot. I think he said it's a very calm
yellow piece of paper.
That's okay. Too late.
I'm just sweating.
Oh yeah. My receipt.
Yeah. I don't have to.
Recipient.
Yep.
The only like thing, not like I had against it, but like the only thing I was gonna say was. Bless you.
Bless you.
She didn't express this.
I'm calling this meeting to order at 4:02 p.m. And we, kind of like we established last week, we are going to start with the land recognition statement. So student government acknowledges that we live, work, and learn in the homeland of the Dakota people, whose language frames our institution's name, Minnesota State University, Mankato. So now we will move into roll call. Senator Hassan. Senator Leon is on Zoom. Senator Franson.
Here.
Senator Miucci.
That one I'm not even going to attend. I'm also just gonna be here, sitting,
Francis, you might want to view it.
doing my homework.
Okay, never mind. Senator Emke is on Zoom. Senator Ponte.
Here.
Senator Bugney. Senator Reyes. Senator Maega.
Here.
Senator Rajesh Karki. Senator Mpanka is on Zoom. Senator Lee.
Yep.
Senator Dietrich.
Here.
Senator Smith.
Here.
Senator Johnson.
Yep.
Senator Moore. Senator Maba. Senator Karki is on Zoom. Senator Livingston.
Here.
Senator Riggle.
Here.
Senator Colleran.
Here.
Senator Zelmer.
Present.
Senator Hillstead.
Present.
Senator Ide.
Present.
I'm here. President Narala.
Present.
And Vice President Jay.
Here.
And we have quorum. So moving into the agenda, is there any dissent to the consent agenda? Any dissent to the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, the consent agenda is approved. So then we will be moving into presentations, and our first presentation and only presentation is Students United. So I'll let you go up to the podium, and I think you just have to turn the mic on, or there's the handheld one too if you want to use that one.
Hello. Yeah. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Sierra Reuger, and I serve as the State Chair of Students United.
Hello everyone, my name is Syed. I'm the Vice Chair for Students United.
I'm Mirza, I'm the Treasurer for Students United.
And thank you for letting us come today and present to you all. So next slide. So who are we? We are led by Minnesota State University students. We are the inclusive voice for all future, current, and former students. We actively work to represent and support students and advocate at a system, local, state, and federal level for higher education policies that make a positive impact for our students and communities. And we are recognized by the Minnesota State System Office and by the state of Minnesota as the official organization representing state university students. Some ways that we represent you include going to Board of Trustees meetings and talking about the issues that are brought up to us through members like President Narala. We also go out to DC where we meet with the entire Minnesota State delegation and we advocate different policies, priorities that, again, our board approves. So legislative and policy updates. We got some great work done at the legislature last year, including the North Star Promise, tuition freeze, basic needs, and mental health investments, and the Student Loan Borrower Bill of Rights. And we continue to elevate the student voice, again, by representing students by providing testimony at the legislature and at Min-State events. We bring together students and legislators to discuss the issues we face, and we meet monthly with Chancellor Olson.
So a quick recap of what we've done last fall. We had our annual advocacy conference in November. That was a huge success. Started our third full year of the Community Leader Fellowship. So the applications will be opening. We'll be talking about that in a minute. The fellows, excuse me. The fellows talked with every food pantry to help us chart a better path forward on campus food insecurity. The GOTV program was a huge success. There was a lot of turnout on each campus. I hope you like the mini donuts that was given out. We had the first meetings for all the committees of the board this year and also passed out our advocacy priorities for the spring. So what we're doing, what we're working on at the Capitol, this year Students United will be working on to increase more on the Hunger Free Campus grants, the Pell grants, the direct admissions program, and one thing we're really proud of is we're working on securing the naloxone access in residential halls. We also had like a training session earlier today, and if you've attended it, you should get and filled out the survey. You would have gotten an electronic certificate as well, and also a free kit. So if you need it, you should be.
Alrighty, next up we have the budget for 2024-2025. Students United Board of Directors set the annual budget. Each year, students and other stakeholders are asked to provide budget feedback. The budget reflects true program cost, which is a best practice for nonprofits to plan, manage, and cover full cost of our services. And how do we create the budget? We look at the data from students, alumni, partners, finance, and fundraising professionals. We follow industry guidelines. We align with our 5-year strategic plan from 21 to 26. And the full strategic plan is on our website as well. And we also hear feedback from you. And if you guys can fill out the short survey that has been passed around to you in the room. And review our finance website, complete the longer survey. Attend the delegates town hall on April 10th. We will be discussing student priorities and where students would like to see Students United invest their resources. Okay, so the budget breakdown. So where do we spend our money? We spend on the following areas: student advocacy, which includes system, state, and federal level advocacy. We spend on our Community Leader Fellowship program to develop our student leaders, student connections, advocacy conference, and campus visits, some of it which we've been doing for the past week and right now as well. Operations, cost to operate a nonprofit, that includes the cost of keep up with our daily expenses of running the organization. Fundraising, that includes cost of bringing in the revenue. So on this slide, we have the past survey result and what to prioritize. On the right, you can see the funding allocations where we funded as per your guys' request from the last year. And on the right, on the left, you can actually see where we should have been focusing on. And yeah, pretty much students said that they wanted Students United to invest more on state level advocacy and system level advocacy. And we were prioritizing funding for more student employment opportunities at a livable wage, followed by funding for campus visits. Current budget based off feedback. So if you guys can see the numbers, 39.5% of our budget goes to student advocacy, 29.8% goes to student leadership program, 5.7% goes to student connections, 16.6 goes to operations, and fundraising costs us like 8% of our budget, and total rounds up to a big figure of $1.2 million, and that's pretty much what our budget is for the whole year. We would love to hear feedback from you guys. Fill out the budget that has been passed around in the room. This is our budget webpage for the full version of the budget survey. And if you do that, you also get a chance to win a $50 Visa gift card. Also, we're gonna be having our virtual town hall on April 10th. Just reach out to your board member, to our board member Roshit, if you have any question, then he can answer it, and let us know if you guys have more concern. We will be happy to answer them. And next on, Sierra back.
So now, how to get involved with Students United. So first opportunity is the Community Leader Fellowship, which again, applications are open. The second full year of it's meant to say third full year of the Community Leader Fellowship is well underway. Our fellows have been working alongside Students United staff and developing their knowledge and skills in our weekly cohort meetings. And again, applications for the 2025-2026 cohort are open and will be conducted on a rolling basis. International students are able to apply for this opportunity, and we take 1 to 2 students from each of our 7 state university campuses. It is $16.50 an hour, and it's 15 hours a week of work, most of which is virtual, and they're really flexible on scheduling if you have exams, that kind of stuff. So next slide. Scholarships, apply, apply, apply. We don't always have enough applicants. And we have 7 scholarships and host 1 additional scholarship, the Nellie Stone Johnson Scholarship, which applications are due June 1st. And then our Community Advisory Board organizes and reviews these applications. And applications open about February 1st, and they close April 1st at midnight.
So the officer application, so if you guys are interested in being either the state chair, the vice chair, or the treasurer, feel free to apply or let the other students know who wants to experience such positions. So go ahead if you want to just experience how it's like to represent and advocate for 55,000 students all over the Min-State. And you also get a chance to actually visit each university, see what's going on, build your leadership skills. And the application is right around the corner. In a couple of days. It starts on February 1st. Also the CLF program, as Sierra mentioned. So just go ahead and apply. And the virtual town hall, so usually in one academic year, we have like 2 virtual town halls. One's hosted in person during the AdCon or the advocacy conference, and the other one's virtual, which is in April 10th. So make sure to join the virtual town hall. It's very important because like a lot of students, they give us a lot of feedback, which is very important for us. There's a lot of things we miss out, which is like, but other students, they're facing such problems, and it's important for us as well to note that. And once we get those inputs, we will reach out to our board meetings for the board of directors, and we'll figure out with our staff member to work on it in the system, state and federal level. So make sure to join the virtual town halls. So questions, if you have any questions, go ahead.
Any questions? I'll open up the speakers list. Senator Zelmer.
Hi, thanks for being here today. I have one question. So last time you guys came to campus, you had tabled down on Mav Ave. I didn't notice that you guys were doing any campus involvement today. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so today we were actually engaging with campus leaders such as Vice President Jones, Vice President Gillespie, as well as Vice President Travis, I forgot his last name, but we were engaging with our campus leadership to get a better idea with some of the federal actions that are happening, just what we need to know and anything that they may have had come up, we get to know. And yeah, and in general, we're always available. We were hosting some office hours actually in the Senate office as well, so students were able to stop on by, ask any questions. Yeah, does that answer?
Yeah, thanks.
Any other questions for the group? Senator Dietrich?
Where did you say the full survey for the budget survey was?
It'll be on studentsunited.org.
I've been on every page on the website. I haven't found it yet.
Sorry, I believe, from my understanding, I believe that the survey they have is the full budget survey. Is that not true, Adam?
There's a link. Sorry for the crosstalk here, folks. There is a link through one which does that's the one that qualifies for the gift card. I'm trying to get that link.
We will find the link for you and send it to your board member who will then give it to you all. Apologies.
Any other questions or comments, anything? Alrighty, seeing none, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, moving on to our agenda, we have open forum. Is there anyone here for open forum? You can come up to the podium. And then if you could just state your name, kind of tell us who you are, and then like give us your little spiel of why you're here.
Hi, my name is Benjamin Mackey. I am the president of the College of Republicans, which you guys are voting on today. I'd like to offer a membership to any of you guys. It would be amazing to have a student senator, somebody that is a leader in our group. And yeah, if you are interested, you can email me at ben.mackey, M-A-K-I, at Minnesota State University of Mankato, or at mnsu.edu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I am Kimberly. I am the director of dining here at campus. I just wanted to stop by and say hi. I've been here for about 3 weeks, and I've had a lot of time out in the student dining areas and meeting and greeting different groups of people, but my door is always open, and feel free to let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here for open forum? I don't think so. So we will move on to officer reports, and then I'll yield to President Narala.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I was sick and out for the last couple of days, so there's not a whole lot of work, but I do have a bunch of new updates, and I'll try to keep it short. I want to thank a bunch of you who put down feedbacks on the Word documents. I think it was really amazing. I was able to meet with some of you and address some of those concerns, and we'll be addressing those in our reports as we go as well. An update for you to share with other student groups and student clubs. If you were ever wondering where the new university branding is, and if you wanted to get access to those are now available on Map Central. If you go to Maverick Involvement Team, we've added a new section called Documents on there, and that will be a resource for all of our student clubs to access the new university branding. Some of the behind the scenes work that we're doing, we've been planning for Lobby Day that is coming up on February 16th and 17th, I believe, where I believe 7 of us will be up at the cities to share the Students United legislative agenda with our state representatives. 17th and 18th, thank you. Student government will also be starting our own scholarship, and it'll be eligible for February 1. For folks that don't know, we do have a textbook scholarship that we used to give out to student leaders, and we're changing that thing around, and we're converting it into a general scholarship that will be open with the rest of the scholarships come February 1st. So if you don't know, you should look into scholarships that open up in about a week, and you should apply for as many scholarships as you can. We'll have ours as well, so look into applying for that. Looking ahead for next week, we do have Meet and Confer. There's a lot on the agenda for Meet and Confer. I'll be sharing those on Teams. But definitely if there's anything that you're hearing on your end, please reach out to us. You know where to find us. Following Meet and Confer, there's also City and University meeting where we'll be meeting representatives from across different colleges at Mankato. But that's everything that I have for my report. I stand for questions.
Any questions for President Narala? Senator Ide?
Can we just find those scholarships you were talking about on the scholarshipfinder.com?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Alrighty, seeing none, we'll move to Vice President Jay.
Hi, everybody. I don't have a lot this week. Earlier this week, Rosha and I met with VP Jones for pre-meet and confer. We just do this typically like the week before meet and confer, just so student government is aware of all the items that we're going to be discussing on meet and confer. One of the big things that got brought up last week was the orientation fee proposal that we all talked about. We had a lot of senators reach out to us with various comments, so we were able to bring that up. The main thing I want to bring from that pre-meet and confer meeting is just a little bit more clarification on what this orientation fee proposal is really asking for, because we had a lot of more clarification questions. So the main reason for this proposal, for the increase in the cost of the orientation fees, is because of the increased wages and salaries for students and the workers that work within orientation, as well as just an overall increase of cost of materials that every department, every office, every program is seeing. Things just cost more money now, and I'm sure we can kind of all relate to that and understand that. That's just something that's going on across the university, and it's also affecting orientation, whether that be in person or online. The in-person, obviously, there's a lot of physical materials they get, as well as there's a lot of things across campus that they do during orientation. For more online orientation, there's just that much more that we have to pay in terms of technology, data security, various things like that. All of that software we still have to pay for in order to host those virtual orientations, and then people are still making those videos, people are still working on the back end to make sure everything is running smoothly. So there are still costs associated with whatever format someone chooses to receive their orientation through. As well as last year, student government helped students across campus receive a wage increase for working on campus. So this proposal would help this program be more in line with that kind of thinking by paying a fair wage to student workers and university workers that work within the orientation processes here at MSU. Obviously, we understand like nobody wants to pay more money. Nobody ever wants to do that. But that is really kind of the basis of this proposal, is mainly a lot of that increased cost now that is in that proposal would be going to fair wages and salaries, as well as just to help cover the overall cost of materials and software and whatever they use in order to put on these orientations. So that's really all I have for my report. Does anyone have any questions on kind of what I just explained? And if you don't want to like ask now or share now, feel free to reach out to me and schedule more of a private meeting, and we can definitely talk in person that way too if you have more questions or concerns. But yeah, I stand for any questions right now.
Any questions for Vice President Jay?
The one other thing I'll say, meet and confer is next Thursday, so a week from tomorrow. So if something does arise, you definitely have time to come talk to Rosha and I, and we can get you in contact with someone if we don't know the answer. But within the next week, feel free to reach out to us and ask, because this will definitely be discussed at meet and confer, and we'd love to bring as many student voices and opinions to that table as possible.
Any questions for VPJ? Alrighty, seeing none, we move on to my report. So I do have an announcement from the PR and Marketing Committee. They would like you to fill out this survey from them. It's about getting a student government column in the Reporter. So any projects that you've been working on or anything fun that's been happening in student government, they've posted, I believe Senator Livingston has been posting it in both the general chat and our Senate chat. So if you could just like fill that information out, that'd be really great. Just because we don't have anybody from the Reporter covering us anymore. So it would be good to like give that update. So just keep that in mind. It can literally be anything small, but that's also where you can give some updates on your projects. Cool. Another thing, today actually, myself, President Narawa, and Senator Livingston had a meeting with a computer science group to start a new project for student government. It's gonna be a way to hopefully get online bookings or online schedulings for students to visit with the attorneys instead of us having to take note of that on a piece of paper and pencil. So we're gonna have like hopefully a new scheduling platform for that. And then also there's a possibility of doing like a virtual Senate voting site. So senators would be able to hopefully log into that, and whenever there's an item on the agenda that needs to be voted on, you can just do that virtually, so then we don't have to waste paper, and then I don't have to get up and run around the room and count all of your votes. It'll do it all electronically for us. So that's in the works. Hopefully they will get that done this semester, and that'll be implemented for next year. So myself, and then also Senator Colleran, Senator Livingston, Senator Dietrich, and Senator Zelmer, we all attended the Narcan training today hosted by Students United. Little unfortunate that I saw some of you around campus during that time and not in this little training, but that's okay because there is another opportunity to get Narcan training on February 12th by FSL and student government. So I definitely would recommend going to that one since most of you couldn't attend today's. It's after Senate anyways, so might as well go get your like training in Narcan afterwards, and it's free, so might as well go. And then yeah, that's really all I have, besides make sure to upload your office hours into the tracker. If you don't know where that is, let me know and I can send you the link, because we are on week 3, so weeks 1 and 2 office hours were due starting Monday, so make sure you upload those. And then also there's only been like 1 or 2 people who've actually signed up to give senator reports, so make sure you do that, because that also does go take into account for your senator pay. So if you want to get paid at the end of the semester, I suggest that you enter your office hours and sign up for senator reports. Cool. That's all I got. Any questions or anything for me? Senator Zelmer.
Just a point of information. So Narcan training is on the 12th, which is a Wednesday after Senate from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Ostrander. Be there and tell your friends. Thank you.
Anything else for me? Alrighty, seeing none, we're moving on, and we have our Dean of the Day, Dr. Kathy Dale, who's the Interim Associate Dean for College of Business.
Thank you for allowing me to be here today. I jotted down a few things I wanted to mention that we have going on in the College of Business in the near future. So next week, Wednesday, February 5th, from 9 to 11:15, we have the College of Business Student Engagement Fair, and all students, of course, are welcome to come to that. But it's set up in the CSU ballroom, and there's tables set up of all the different ways students can get involved and become engaged, particularly in the College of Business, but also in the university. So that began next Wednesday, February 5th, 9 to 11:15. There's also February 12th, the College of Business has set up mock interviews with employers where students can sign up to practice their interviewing skills. They should have their resume, bring that with them, have it ready to go, and they can work with the Career Development Center on their resume if they need help, of course, but bring that along with. But that's February 12th. It's in the CSU as well, and that's from 9 to 12:30, and students would need to sign up for that. The employers there, it'll probably be mostly College of Business types of jobs that we'll see. Taylor Corp will be there, Deloitte, Northwestern Mutual, and NIDEC are 4 of the companies that will be there that students can interview with. We have set up 2 sessions. The first one was today, so that one is passed, but we have an upcoming one in April. But it's an internship skill session, and this is an interactive session where students can work on their professional skills and practice those interactively. The next one will be in April 24th from 1 to 2. And that is something that you can sign up for that as well. We have the study abroad tour. I've talked about that, I know, and I think Dean Bach has as well, but it's not too late to sign up for the study abroad tour, and that will go to South Korea, and that will happen in May. So not too late to sign up for that if you're interested. Steve Formanak, he's a professor in management. He would be a good person to reach out to for that, or Professor Wade Davis as well. And then the last thing, the Maverick Innovation Gateway, that is under construction. The construction's going well. That's the old Maverick bookstore that we see on Stadium, and you maybe have seen some work going on around there. Working hard at that. There'll be just a soft opening. It won't be quite ready, but a soft opening in March. And then there'll be a ribbon cutting and a big grand opening at the beginning of fall semester. But that's kind of like an innovation hub, and that will be open across campus. That's just not a College of Business thing, but that is open to all who maybe want to share ideas about innovation and work on various innovative type of projects. So that's what I have. Any questions?
Any questions for our Dean of the Day? Senator Johnson.
Not a question, but a comment. Along with resources that you had mentioned, I tutor in the Writing Center, and I'm always happy, and the other tutors as well, with helping with cover letters, resumes, and stuff like that.
Oh, that's great to know. I'll make a note for that as well. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, anything like that? Alrighty, seeing none. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
And then we are moving into senator reports, and we do have a senator report, and today it's from Senator Ide. So you can either stay here and give your report, or you can go up to the podium, however you choose.
I'll just stay here, it's a small one. All right, hello everybody, happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing all right. I know I am. So just a little update. I met with Senator Colleran a few weeks ago, and a part of my constituency, we discussed ways to increase student engagement between student government and Res Hall Association, and we ended up coming up with a solution. So following through every RHA meeting, I am going to be there and I will be reporting back everything that pertains to RHA from what happened in student government. And this is to hopefully bolster the relationship between RHA and student government, as these are the two organizations that students have control over, that also has control over the university and can change university. If there are any requests for something to be put on the RHA agenda for me to speak of, shoot me an email and I'll be sure to add it. Just a small personal update. Even though I'm busy this semester, I am starting to work on the MavPod research for my reports, and I'm trying to look into first year experience being possibly maybe a required course or a required program of sorts, maybe a 4 to 6 week thing, but that's all in the very, very early discussions. No solid plan. But if you guys have any resources that you think might be helpful for my future endeavors, please reach out to me. But that's about it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Are there any questions or anything for Senator Ide? Great, seeing none. Good first report of the semester. Perfect. Alrighty, moving on, we'll be moving to vacancies. Is there anyone here for residential life? Alrighty, we'll have you come up to the podium. You do have this applicant's materials in Teams, so you can pull that up. So I'm just gonna give you a brief little rundown. So you'll have 2 minutes for your opening statement, followed by any questions that any of the senators have. And then you'll have a minute for a closing statement. So basically, whenever you're ready, you can begin with your opening statement.
Someone very dear to me once taught me that community is what bonds people with the same needs. But something that I have found out throughout my whole life is that that can be a strong love, an immense joy, or even the worst of fears. Nice to meet you all. My name is Simon. I am an exchange student from Venezuela. I am an activist. I'm a filmmaker, an artist, a poet, a writer, and I have dedicated my job towards LGBT activism, artivism, which is a hybrid way of doing artivism or activism through art, and alternative activism. This has gotten me the scholarship that I'm here representing, which is called the UGRAD, the Undergraduate Students Program for the United States, from the Department of State through an organization called World Learning. Even though I have done workshops, diplomat leadership programs towards activism, right now I'm a student from the Catholic University Andrés Bello in Venezuela. I first studied something called Letras that will be translated to literature, but furthermore, it's about linguistic, about Spanish, European, English, Latin literature, grammar, and especially about sending messages. I'm now doing a mass communications major because I realized that having powerful messages and knowing how to actually get people through those messages, it's something life and death that we need in Venezuela. I am a politic for a way of life, for a way of survival in my country. But here, and as my personal motto, I always think that politics, it's about service. It's about public service. I was a delegate, public relations coordinator, secretary general, and faculty advisor for my Model of UN back in high school and in my university. Then I became a faculty counselor for the Humanities Studies and Education faculty, the president for the Student Center for both of my majors, and I just resigned one of those presidencies to come here to make this scholarship. I think community service is the most vulnerable parts that sometimes we develop as human beings, as students. We try to reach as much opportunities as possible, but sometimes we forget what is that community that we're trying to build upon. So I'm a public server. I'm here to help. I want to learn how to help. I want to help you guys do that as well. But especially I want to work. I'm running for senator because I'm already supporting the Mavericks involvement team, the Global Exchange and Languages Offices, the Latin Affairs Department, and I was just elected last Friday as Public Relations Secretary for the UN RSO. I'm here sponsored to help, to work. And that's what I want to do. I think that actually helping the MSU student community to grow, it's actually what will help me build community upon that immense joy or that immense love that I mentioned at first, and not those struggles that I learned how to overcome from Venezuela. Thank you.
Thank you. So now I'm going to open up the floor to our senators for any questions that they might have. Senator Ide.
Hello, thank you for your time. You seem like a very, very committed man and a very dedicated person, and I commend you for that, but you have a lot of responsibilities this semester. How are you going to ensure that you can keep up with all of them?
Well, I am crazily organized. You will find funny that I have at least 4 notebooks with me, 1 planner. I use a lot of calendars, either digitally or physically, so I can actually keep track of my time. I'm very respectful towards my time and other people's times. So just for you to know and to make it clear, I wouldn't be trying to get a responsibility as big if I wouldn't be able to actually achieve.
Thank you.
Senator Moore.
So I know you're only here for a semester, it seems to be on the application. Are there any specific things that you think you could achieve in that time frame or anything? Sort of how would you make sure you can achieve what you can in that time frame and not leave things like unfinished?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the question. I've been trying to get involved with I wouldn't say the most RSOs or the most departments or the best, because there are a lot of them. But I try to do a little research even before coming here to MSU when I knew that I was selected for this university, to try and find the easiest and fastest way for me to give the information, the knowledge, and the work that I've been doing from Venezuela to here, because I will actually like to make as much connections as I can. My university, just to add something, it's part of a network called the AUSJAL, which is the Jesuits' large network of universities in Latin America. So that would be Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Colombia. There are so many great universities that are doing many great initiatives that I think that I would like to connect. I would look forward to connect with people.
Vice President Jay. Hi, thanks for being here. So as a senator for the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, each senator typically works on a project a semester, specifically relating to their constituency. So as your constituency would be all students within the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. What? Res Life. Where did I see that? I'm so sorry, I must have been looking at the wrong thing. That's okay, my question can still apply. So, as someone living on campus, your constituency would then be all students living on campus in the 5 spaces we have here for students. Is there a specific project or a specific issue that you'd like to try and address, and potentially come up with a project to fix that issue that you see?
Yes, I am particularly worried about how students aren't connecting towards the activities on campus. Like, everyone is living their own lives, and even though we have so many activities, we have so many ways of actually taking out that information, those messages, the flyers, all of that. I see that the students aren't actually relating towards it. Speaking about a plan, I would start local. I don't feel comfortable with how the dynamics go in my hall, so I would start making conversations for it. Then I will go try to find more biggest groups of people. And yes, I'm applying specifically for residence hall, for Center for Campus Life, because it's my everyday. I'm living in campus right now. It's not only for my well-being or my roommates' well-being. I think it's for making community from the smallest place towards the biggest one.
Thank you. Senator Dietrich.
Could you tell me a little bit more about the activism that you did in Venezuela?
Yeah, sure. I will explain really fast something like how our political system works right now. So we have a 25 years of dictatorship. It's very restrictive with information, specifically with information. I did my thesis on letras regarding how the government changed culture, books, frameworks for universities to not be able to give the knowledge that the people needed. And that's what I've been doing in Venezuela. I first started as a photographer because I liked communicating and taking photos. But through this, I found out that challenging the government towards the work upon culture and education and all of this, it's actually a very nice way to do it. Right now, I'm working on a project in Venezuela. I have a great team back home. We're trying to make conversational reading and creative writing workshops in every single public school. There are some schools that are called Fe Alegría that are actually also from the Jesuits. And towards teaching them the right knowledge, the right literature to look upon and wonder how would we like to be, since our references, since our earliest culture, talking just about Latin America. I have found out that people have a way to express themselves, to actually fight the government in their kind of way. So it's that literature, culture, trying to question as much as the government and the places back in Venezuela. But actually, I'm like a micro influencer or something like that, in which I actually get to make messages for my people to understand some things.
Thank you, and best of luck in your endeavors when you return.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I don't see any, so you'll have 1 minute for a closing statement. So you can begin whenever you're ready.
I think I've talked too much, to be honest. I have the tendency to talk a lot. But here in MSU, I have found that I can do that. I came here to the US to have the experience about how American culture, or even saying it like from my Venezuelan perspective, the most global capitalist country in the world may work. And I have found that we're never that different, either for tendencies or thoughts or lifestyles. We're still human. I have this great friend that is also in the UGRAD program, but he was sent to Kent in Ohio, that he told me the day that I was getting my visa, and I was so nervous. He told me, Simon, don't worry, because if those people cut themselves with paper, they will bleed as the same as you will. And so that is what I want you to know. It's not about sharing my story. It's about that every time one of my scars bleeds, they also share Venezuelan stories that I think that I can't shut up most of the time. We're also speaking about the reporter. Today, I started officializing my work towards the reporter. So if you need some advocate or some help there, I'm also available for help you guys. Thank you for the moment. Thank you for the space. Thank you for the trust, and especially thank you as my representation of what the United States looks like for giving me an opportunity that I would never have in any other way.
Thank you. So you'll have the option to either stay in the room or leave the room. We're just gonna discuss and then we'll vote. So you can either stay or you can leave the room and somebody can come get you.
I think I will take caution.
Okay, sounds good. Alrighty, so we are opening the floor up for discussion, and Senator Riggle, I saw you first.
So I think, if anything, he's overqualified to be on student government. Looking at all of the advocacy he's done, they've done in their home country is just honestly phenomenal, in my opinion. And I think that even though they're only here for a semester, they'd be an amazing addition to Senate, and I strongly support them being elected.
Senator Ide.
I completely agree with Senator Riggle. For a little bit more information, I am in Model UN with him as well. I met him yesterday, and on Friday, and he's a very, very nice guy. He's acted exactly how he did in here, and I fully support him.
Senator Colleran.
Yeah, so just complete yield redundancy to the previous senators. He seems very qualified and very passionate for advocacy over in student government. I think him having a project priority of having a more centralized community here in the dorms will also be really helpful. So I'm personally gonna say yes.
And then President Narala.
Oh, awesome. I was just gonna talk about this, but you guys have summed it up pretty well as well. Simon and I actually talked last week and we discussed a bunch of different options on how he could get involved across campus, and that's how I was able to share about student government with him. But he's a really passionate individual. We talked for about 2 hours just on different project ideas, and we were bouncing off 6 to 7 ideas off of each other. So I think he'd be a really great addition to the team. Thank you.
Any other comments or discussion points? Alrighty. Is there any dissent to going into voting? Let's call the question. Is there a second? Alrighty, any dissent to the question that's been called, which is voting? No, okay, cool. Already get out a piece of paper, write yes, no, or abstain. And then folks on Zoom, please send Rosha a private message. You'll have until I get back, which will literally be like 2 minutes, so please do it now.
Just have like a piece of paper that like lives here and
Yeah.
write pieces off.
It's like you have stacks of sticky notes everywhere.
Oh yeah, cause Sean's not here.
Do you have a cheat reference?
Thank you, Ben. Kendra's over there. Yes.
Oh, like my dreams. Good. We said gonna ask someone else. Feels weird on tape. It seems like right up your alley. Time to have speeches, okay.
And then we're waiting on.
Interesting. In South Korea this summer, my best friend that I made there was from Venezuela. And like in one of the classes and stuff, like we did kind of like the economic background of our countries. And so she was telling us about that and like how it was under the dictatorship and like what her experiences were. I was like almost in tears. Like she started her life over 3 times because of the dictatorship in Venezuela.
Ben, what'd you mess up?
So for him to be an activist, against the government there.
Did you get Tyler's itty bitty one?
Like the amount of people that have.
Yeah, it's Tyler's. We got one over here.
For other countries, like
Okay.
it's a ghost country now, basically.
Go on, Tyler. So small. There's no one.
So I'm excited to talk to him about
I was like, I'm pretty sure I know how to count. I was like,
You're pretty. I wrote down help.
Yeah. Did you see?
You can go on.
yep, I'll have you come up to the podium. Alrighty, so congratulations, we have had a 100% unanimous election. So I will have you raise your right hand and repeat after me. So I state your name,
I, Simon Isaac,
do hereby swear
hereby swear
to represent, support, and serve
to represent, support, and serve
the students of Minnesota State Mankato
students from Minnesota State Mankato
in student life and academic needs,
student life and academic needs
and to uphold the mission,
until I uphold the mission,
Constitution, and bylaws
Constitution, and bylaws
of the student government.
of the students' government.
I so affirm. Yay, congratulations. Alrighty, so now what you can do, you can grab your stuff and take any open chair at the table. You can join us for the rest of the meeting.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Alrighty, moving on.
I have an
President
amendment.
Narala.
I have an amendment to the consent agenda.
Yep.
If we could move old business up from new business, just so we could vote on the old business and then move into discussions of the new business.
Second.
Third.
Fourth.
Okay, we got a second. Is there any dissent to moving old business before new business? Okay, seeing none, that has been approved. So we're actually going to, oh wait, I had to finish vacancies, sorry. We now have all of our residential life seats filled, so we have no more vacancies there, so congratulations everyone. So then we will move on to other vacancies. Anyone here for off-campus? College of Allied Health and Nursing, College of Business, and the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Already seeing none, now we will move into old business and we'll talk about the campus security officer retention resolution. You should all have gotten that in the email that I sent out, and it's also in Teams. And then we'll work on getting our newly elected senator added to our teams as well. Would the author and co-author like to say anything on the resolution?
Yeah, it's got some brief remarks.
Alrighty, you can either go up to the podium or you can stay seated.
I'll stay seated, like a.
So if everybody wants to pull up the resolution, then you can look at it on your screens.
Yeah, it's the revised one. I don't know if that's, make sure it's the revised one in the new email. Anyway, yeah, hey y'all,
I don't see the revised one.
probably the revised one's not in the email.
Or is it supposed to be 122?
You have two.
This is it.
Okay, that
This
is,
it.
okay,
Yeah,
good, good,
never mind.
okay.
Never
Does it
mind.
have two
This is it.
whereas?
Okay. So I had a lot of good discussions with many of you, and I present a kind of evolved version of Andrew and I's resolution regarding campus security retention. Like I said, this has evolved a lot after very fruitful conversations with many of you, and we've really narrowed the scope to focus on benefits and professional development within the context of the fact that we don't really have a lot of say over wages and benefits, really. They are contracted workers, and that they are unionized, and that's kind of their whole job is to advocate for a higher wage themselves. So we're gonna try to do what we can in our power by focusing on benefits and professional development. And really the whole goal of it is to make the position a appealing way for people to advance their careers. And to have the professional development using it as like a stepping stone for people who are interested, and for students especially who are interested in pursuing policing or any kind of other security role. So basically, if we can provide that training and professional development, we hope that can make up for the relatively low wages that security does have. So that's kind of the rationale here. I'll just go through each amendment I made. They were made primarily for clarity and conciseness. My lovely co-sponsor Andrew will fill in the holes and provide context when the need arises. Okay, so with that said, I'll just start out. Basically, we scrapped 2R on the first paragraph, as well as I listed out all the duties that they have. We scratched that. The second whereas, we scrapped the moreover due to, replacing it with these. And also they are unable to with a causes an inability. We scratched the first be resolved as a whole, no replacement for that. The second one, we replaced allocating a portion of the funding to with Minnesota State University Mankato to prioritize. We replaced tailor them with tailored, known as C2 Minnesota State University. Second to be resolved in the revised version, only out there is replacing creating new partnerships to support with to stabilize. Next to be resolved, replaced annually collect, we said consider collecting. Replace the status should then be presented to the Senate, replace that to improve, and we scrapped as well as to aid with and. So I welcome any questions about the revisions or anything about the resolution as a whole.
Senator Collard, I'll let you speak since you're a co-sponsor.
Much appreciated. So like why I mostly second this resolution, just want to see it go through is just This is student government recognizing that there is improvements that can be done with security. And there's, while there is not perfect ways that we can properly help security that are like objective and absolutely the best, there's suggestions that can be made and there's suggestions that can be followed through to make sure they can happen in a good way. Some suggestions might fall through and some might actually make the security program a lot better than it is right now. I think it's worth for us to try and to have some ability to articulate us trying through this resolution.
I just want to emphasize, there is no financial tags to this. Like, we are the only one, because I know obviously money can be a touchy subject sometimes, with tight budgets and all that. But frankly, one of the be resolves will save us money, save campus security down the road. So there is no, we're not asking for any more increases. This is simply asking for restructuring and considering adding new basically lighting a fire so they can have conversations and create partnerships with the criminal justice department, Mankato PD, groups like those. Yeah. That's all I got.
So since there are 3 amendments to this resolution from the first version to the second version, would you both like to motion and then second that to adopt these amendments?
Motion to adopt the proposed amendments.
Second.
Perfect. Is there any dissent to these amendments to their newly revised resolution? Okay, seeing none, then your amendments have been adopted. And then now we can move on to discussion of their proposed revised resolution, which is the same one that was sent out in the email and the one that is uploaded into Teams. So now we will move forward. Are there any discussion points for the resolution or any questions for the author and co-author? Alrighty, seeing none, is there a motion to call to question?
Motion to call to question.
Second.
Alright, we have a second, so the question has been called. Is there any dissent into voting on this matter? Already seeing none, we're just gonna go with this simple like raise your hand type thing, since not all of you have placards yet, or like name tags. So I'm just gonna, and folks on Zoom, if you could just send in a yes or no vote, that'd be great. So the motion on the table is to vote to pass this resolution as revised. So all those in favor, you can like raise your hand. So all those in favor of passing this resolution? Alrighty. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Alrighty, and then alrighty, and with that, the campus security retention resolution has passed 23 yeses, 0 nays, and 2 abstentions. Yay, congratulations. Sorry, we were trying to figure out everything from Zoom, so that's why it took a little hot minute for that delay. Alrighty, so since there is nothing else under old business, we will move into new business, and the first item on new business is the passing grade threshold resolution that is authored by Senator Colleran and co-authored by President Narala. If you all want to pull that up on your screens as well. And then I will let the author speak first, and then if the co-author has anything to add after.
Okay.
So you can stay seated or go up to the podium, however you please.
I'll stay seated, but I want to go grab a microphone.
Valid.
Okay, does this work?
Yes.
So this is a resolution I worked on all last semester. Like, this is my primary project as the academic affairs coordinator. So I've had a lot of meetings with Jennifer Belsos about it, a lot of conversation with the cabinet and senators themselves with it. So this resolution covers two main concepts: a passing grade threshold and shade grading. So for passing grade threshold is basically the amount of grade you need to take a course to succeed in the course. Also take additional courses that require that course's knowledge. So I'm an accounting major, so I'm going to use the example of financial accounting. So for financial accounting to achieve the class, like you have to get a C or higher to be able to take intermediate financial accounting and to just continue your course as a student here. If you don't reach the threshold of a C in that class, you would have to retake the course. Microphone not working?
I think you need to hold it a little higher, a little closer to your mouth.
I'm just gonna now try it this time. So when passing it, like if you do fail to pass the course, that means you either have to retake the course or you just have to do a whole different kind of degree situation. I'll try. Haven't to find out a word later. So with that situation is, well, like to retake a course, it takes a lot of resources. Those resources include time, your academic progress, and money. So it could be a lot, and maybe even too much for students to retake a course that they could have taken if it was passing grade that was different. So that's a passing grade threshold. Now the concept of shaded grading. So if you don't know, the MSU Makeo system has two main grading systems. There's shaded and non-shaded. So non-shaded is just letter grades. So that's an A, B, C, D, so on and so forth. Whereas for shaded grading, it takes the letters of the grades and makes them a little more specific. And through this, the basic grade of a letter could have a shade up or a shade down, aka a plus or a minus. So that could be a B plus, B, B minus, C plus, C, C minus. So those are those two concepts, but the problem I've seen with grading lately was the combination of those two concepts. So what we have right now within the grading policy is that if your course wants to transition in from a shaded course to a non-shaded course and vice versa, you're able to do it in between semesters. So it has created a little bit inconsistencies with the grading passing threshold as well. So just taking the example of a C for financial accounting, if there was a course that was doing non-shaded grading, they would be having passing threshold percentage base be 70%. Now next semester they want to transition into a shaded system. That would change the percentage from 70% to 72%. And that change does not change the rigor or the actual course material. It's just the grading system. Yet that 2% can be a make or break for a lot of students here if whether or not they be able to pass the class. So that doesn't create different like rigorous problems or rigorous like deficiencies. It just creates inconsistent outputs. So to minimize those inconsistent outputs, I'm currently advocating for if there is a system that is doing shade grading, they do a shade down, aka a minus, just to ensure there's no consistency if you change your system between a non-shade system into a shade system. I also will be advocating for it to be implemented through the grading policy through policy review for next academic year. I've spoken to Jennifer Belsos to make that happen, and she finds it very realistic as long as we pass this resolution. I also want to make sure there's transparency through this stuff, especially with passing grade threshold, because that is barely communicated, and it's up to the department to communicate that. And there is some cases like the CSET department that would be able to communicate that easily. I'm a college business major. I don't see that being communicated often. So I would prefer to be communicated through e-services, which again is very doable. So that's why I'm currently advocating for this, and I'll yield to my second if he has any clarification points or if there's anything that I missed.
Do you have anything, President Narala?
Yeah, definitely. I think Andrew's done a pretty solid task of sharing this resolution with the administration. I am happy to say I'm really proud of the work he's done behind the scenes in meeting with different administrators, sharing with them what the intent of the resolution is, and trying to work with them to see where we can get. Essentially, a policy change recommendation has been submitted within writing, but we're also asking an off-cycle review of the policy to expand and cover more into what is considered with shaded grading, what professors need to do if we're implementing shaded grading into different courses, how we can make it uniform and consistent across the board. So I think it's a really strong resolution, and I'd recommend that you all vote yes, but we'd also be open to any questions and comments.
Alrighty, after hearing from our author and co-author, I'm going to open up the floor to discussion with like questions, comments, anything like that. And I saw Senator Budney go up first.
I wanna second this. I think it's super important because I had a shaded class that I got a higher percentage in compared to where I had an unshaded. I got a higher grade in the unshaded than the shaded where I had a higher percentage in. And it just didn't make sense to me. So I think, yeah, that's very viable, yeah.
Senator Miyoshi?
I have a question. Is getting rid of the shaded grade not an option?
No, so like the main purpose of shade grading is just to have more specific results. So if you have a professor that wants to have more specific grading, like having a B plus or B minus, like that shouldn't, like the grading system that has inconsistent outputs shouldn't be the problem that would destroy that, especially in the name of academic freedom. So like this just allows for shade grading to exist as a really good program along with coexisting with passing grade thresholds.
Any other questions or comments or feedback for either our author or co-author? Alrighty, if not, Vice President Jay.
Call a question.
Is there a second?
Second.
Right, we have a second. So what that means is that instead of bringing this to old business, we can actually speed run this and vote on it today. So is there any dissent to the question being called? Alrighty, seeing none, we'll do like the same thing that we did last time, like raise of hands, however you wanna go up in the air, you wanna go outside, whatever you wanna do. And we will vote on that, and then people on Zoom, please send your vote in to President Narala in the private chat. So your options are yes, no, or abstain. If you've been in Academic Affairs Committee, you've been talking about this for a very long time. So unless you're a brand new senator as of the semester, you should know exactly what's been going on. Alrighty, so all those in favor, please raise your hand and yes. Alrighty. Any no's? Then any abstains? Valid. Alrighty. Alrighty, so this resolution has also been passed on the count of 23 yeses to 0 no's to 2 abstentions. So this resolution has been passed. Yay, we can clap. Alrighty. Next under new business is this is a very long title, the emboldening of diversity, equity, and inclusion resolution. And I also believe Senator Colleran is the first, so the author, and then Senator Riggle is the co-author and the second. So if you all want to pull up that resolution as well, and then I will yield to our author, and then if our co-author wants to comment afterwards, I will let you do that directly without me having to intervene.
Okay, well, hello again, everyone. So basically the purpose of this resolution is just clocking that like there is a lot of uncertainty of DEI, especially with the recent events in the past couple days and couple weeks. So I think like it is important to clock that, especially when within student government, there's not too many ways for us to articulate that we support the efforts of DEI. And like I've talked to a lot of senators as well, where like there is implicit support, but it's like for actually explicit articulated support, there's little if any to be found. I think us having a resolution that will be able to articulate that to some degree will be amazing. And like, yes. And it just helps us show that like us as student body believes this kind of stuff that matters for us to be able to articulate this situation even in the face of what is happening right now. And like if there's any administration conversations, like if there's anyone who is uncertain with what student government stands with and what they believe in for this aspect, I think they'll be able to know through this resolution and just be able to say like this is what's happening. So I'll yield to my second just to conversate about the essence of this resolution.
All right, so when I asked to co-author this, I'm like, we need receipts. So it does actually state values of DEI in the student policy handbook, and there is also state public policy that was passed in the last executive session supporting diversity. So basically what this is doing is it's just saying us as student government support university policy and state policy that are currently in place.
Sorry, I'm writing. Cool. Yeah, alrighty, cool. Just making sure that I'm not losing my mind. Alrighty, so since our first and second have kind of given you the overview of this resolution, we are going to open the floor up for any discussion points, like any comments, and then also any questions that you might have about this resolution. So, is there anyone? Senator Zelmer.
Question, so you had said that it's just stating that we support the current state, like what we have put in. Does that mean that we're also going to continue supporting the past state if that state, or if the policy changes?
We'll
So
support
say-
whatever the policy changes to.
Okay.
Is there any other questions or comments or any feedback? Alrighty, seeing none. Alrighty, so for this one, I had to clarify this. We'll move it into old business. And then
Does Senator Hillstead have something?
No.
okay, cool. Alrighty, so then this resolution will be moved to old business and we'll talk about it again next week with the potential for voting next week. Alright, cool. Alrighty, moving on to our last new business item, which is actually the resolution to establish SAC's inclusion in general elections. That is brought forth by President Nurala and Vice President Jay, so if you all would like to take a look at that, and I will yield to the author, and then the co-author can speak after the author.
Awesome. So we've been hinting at making a big governing documents reshuffling for quite some time, and that is in the works. However, as we were working on a lot of different elements, we recognized that this is one item that we needed to discuss sooner rather than later, just because of the time constraint of what we're looking at. To give you guys a background context, Student Allocations Committee is the committee that reviews student activity fees before it's brought up for presentation at student government. Student Allocations Committee currently has 9 open members that can be appointed by student government president. And there are certain regulations in terms of how many of those could be senators, depending on the week of the semester and X, Y, and Z conditions. So we're working on cleaning that up and also adding some other elements within that committee's definition, leadership stipends and other elements. To give you a basic rundown, we're eliminating the 9 membership and consolidating it into 7 membership committee, because if we look at the history, we've never had a full 9 member committee for quite some time now. It's really difficult to get 9 people on board. It's really difficult to find a right time for 9 individuals in between their busy classes for them to meet at a certain time and discuss, especially in spring semester when you're looking at 3-hour-long meetings every week for about 8 weeks. That's a lot of time commitment. So we're reducing that down to 7 total students. We're entirely removing the senator cap element that was present within the bylaws. We're also changing some things around so that way it's not just student government president appointed position, but it's also open for any students to run. So 4 members of the committee will be elected through spring elections of student government, which means anyone who's interested is able to run for that position. We're still keeping 3 appointments for student government president, and provided that the 4 vacant seats are not filled through the general election, the president is able to step in and appoint these members. Subsection D of that amendment is a new thing that we've added, but it's something that we're keeping consistent with what we're practicing this year. Student Allocations Committee has like $1,000 allocated for leadership stipends for their chair and vice chair. We changed some things around this year where we said we are gonna compensate individual members of Student Allocations Committee because of the time commitment that they put towards building the student activity fee. And so keeping consistent with what we practiced this year, we're gonna provide a compensation of $100 for every one of the 5 individuals that will be on that committee. And then for the chair and the vice chair, we'll be splitting that up $300 and $200, and we're incorporating that into the bylaws, just so it's clear.
Any comments from the second?
Yeah, so if for whoever doesn't know what SAC does, they do this much amount of work. SAC does so much work. Andrew is chair of that committee. Yes, so if you have questions specifically on all the things SAC does, you could more than likely ask him. I know he's been great at that. This committee does so much work. They put in so much time. Like Rosha said, they do at least 3 hours of work on this in one huge meeting every single week in the spring semester. I know they also hold meetings in the fall just to prepare. They are such a resource to student government. So in short, this resolution will make it easier to get people on this committee, as well as help recognize the committee members for their work and give them a stipend for all the work that they're doing. And the reason why we made it easier to get people on this committee is because we would like to have as many voices as possible, so that we get voices from all areas of campus to this committee to be able to vote and discuss a lot of the things, because again, like I said, they do so much work. It's kind of all over the place, all the things that they work on. So we'd like people to be on this committee, but again, it's a big commitment. So that is the main thing. It helps kind of streamline the process to get into this committee, as well as recognize the committee members. So I yield to Andrew and then I yield to Ben for comments.
Okay, just like on general comments of this, I have been a member of Student Allocations Committee last academic year. I'm currently the chair. So when it comes to actually recruitment to members in the committee, I would say it's a complete struggle. Like there's so much to do, and like there's like just between last year's committee and this year's committee, both committee members had 4 people on it out of the 9. And it was a struggle just to get those 4 members, much less more than double that. So I think like having an election position to make it so it's a lot more easier to get into the committee, and it's a lot more easier to advertise, I think would be absolutely amazing. Especially when this committee is very important and does have, as the first and second have noted, a lot of work in it that does require a lot of meticulous analyzation and a lot of decisions to be made before it's presented over to student government. And also another note, if you have absolutely any questions with SAC, I'm more than happy to help with this as well.
I'm also a member of SAC. Yeah, Andrew does, just a little side note, Andrew does a fantastic job of like navigating the massive vessel that is SAC. We do manage a huge budget, and just having more people, not even just for sake of representation, but it's also, these are student dollars that we're talking about here. And to allow students to vote on who manages those budget decisions that are those student dollars, I think will be crucial to kind of the democratization of student government as a whole. So I would urge a yes vote on this resolution.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome. If I could add just one comment, we won't be voting on this week just because it's a bylaw amendment. It will follow the 2-week procedure. We'd be more than happy to chat with you afterwards for any comments, questions, or concerns. Essentially, if we do adopt this, what that means is that you'd be eligible to run for Student Allocations Committee come this April, which is why we want to get it done as soon as possible. And you can also encourage your friends to run for Student Allocations Committee on top of other committees that will be open up for general elections. But yeah, if you have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer your question. Mark's there on the gallery. He advises student allocations. He'd be more than happy to answer questions about some history and stuff. But yeah.
Alrighty. Are there any questions from anyone regarding this resolution? Alrighty, seeing none, since President Norella said that this is technically in the bylaws, it does have to have a 2-week period. So we'll move it to old business for next week, and then it can be voted on next week. if you all see fit. Alrighty. Cool. So that is the end of our new business. So now we can move into announcements. Are there any announcements? Senator Moore.
So the LCP Center is doing Safe Zone training, coming up. There's 2 sessions you have to attend to get like the certificate for it. First is February 7th from 2 to 4:30, and the second is February 14th from 2 to 4:30. If you go under MDI sessions in the website, there's a place to register. Yeah, you get a certificate, and there's usually some like buttons and pens and things like that. And it basically helps you get tools to create a more inclusive environment, be it like if you're teaching or if you're in business. Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any other announcements, Senator Dietrich?
So I also have an event to talk about. So on Friday at 9 a.m. in the library on the first floor, southwest corner, one of the faculty from the library, Heidi Southworth, is going to be hosting a session on what's called Leganto. I can't expect anyone here to have heard about that before unless you've heard me talk about it, but we're really excited about it. It's a way for faculty to like take resources off of like the web or anywhere else and integrate it directly into D2L. We're hoping to get this promoted and having lots of faculty using it to help improve your courses and your curriculum, as well as potentially get people moving more in the direction of open educational resources, which would lower your textbook costs. And I know that we all care about that. I won't go into like a lot of the technical stuff about Leganto, but if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to reach out to me after the meeting. But before Friday at 9 a.m. I will be there, so yeah.
Oh, thank you. Any other announcements? Todd? Yes.
Just a reminder, 2 weeks from today is trivia, 5 o'clock in the Johnson Alumni Room Taylor Center. So hope you all participate. So food will be provided.
Thanks, Todd. I was also gonna mention, write that as the end note before you all headed out. There is trivia in 2 weeks, February 12th. Full sweep. Thank you.
Any other announcements from anyone? Alrighty, seeing none, we will be moving into final roll call. Senator Hassan, Senator Leon is on Zoom, Senator Franson, Senator Miyuchi, Senator Emke is on Zoom, Senator Ponte, Senator Bugney, Senator Reyes, Senator Maega, Senator Rajesh Karki is not here, Senator Mpanga is on Zoom, Senator Lee, Senator Dietrich,
here,
Senator Smith,
here,
Senator Johnson, Senator Moore, here, Senator Baba's on Zoom, Senator Karki is also on Zoom, Senator Livingston, here. Senator Riggle, here. Senator Colleran, here. Senator Zelmer, present. Senator Hillstead, present. Senator Ide, here. Oh my gosh, Simon, I don't know your last name, so I'm gonna go Senator Simon. He's here already. I am here, President Rallo, and DPJ. And we are adjourned at 5:29 p.m.
Awesome. If you filled out the paper form, I can collect them over here. And then if you are on a fee committee except student activities, could you stay back for just a minute? Except student activities, just a minute. You guys can have it.
Web isn't into it, or exec meetings on.